So let me just say that when I first played this, I don't think I had. If I'm thinking back to when I first played this, I don't think I actually got myself spoiled about this. I think I was actually genuinely surprised that we were actually going to get to meet our Hawke in the game. It was something that I don't know if I actually considered. I thought it would maybe be cool if we somehow got to find out about what happened to our Hawke or our Warden, but I don't think I actually considered that we would get the chance to meet them. So yeah, then this option here, we can either go with the default or we can go with the custom one. Now, when we did 2, I basically just went with the default appearance with the blood smear, which is you can go with either the one without or the one with the blood. I had the blood smear in 2. I mean, I guess I could change the hair, but nah, let's just go ahead and pick that one. That's basically what she was in 2.
Inquisitor, meet Hawke, the champion of Kirkwall.
Though I don't use that title much anymore.
Hawke, the Inquisitor. I figured you might have some friendly advice about Corypheus. You and I did fight him, after all.
You want my advice? Did you hear what happened to Kirkwall? My advice nearly tore that city apart.
So yeah, this dialogue is a little different based on what personality that you had your Hawke be. Which, if you guys remember, we played a very aggressive, angry Hawke who was very pissed off about everything that was going on around her. So, yeah.
You did the best you could with an impossible situation. A lot of people were going to die either way. That's what I'm facing now. And I could use your experience here.
Fair enough. I'll tell you whatever you think will help.
Varric said that you fought Corypheus before.
Fought and killed. The Grey Wardens were holding him, and he somehow used his connection to the Darkspawn to influence them.
Corypheus got into their heads, messed with their minds, turned them against each other.
If the Wardens have disappeared, they could have fallen under his control again.
I will say that one thing I both like, but also one thing I don't like about the bringing in Hawke here. I like that based on what your class is, will affect what Hawke is wearing. Hawke is going to wear the Champion of Kirkwall armor set from Dragon Age 2. Which one she wears is, of course, going to depend on what class you played, since she will wear the one that the class would wear. The only thing I don't like is that if you, say, played a warrior, you don't get to specify what spec she played. Because if you guys remember, we played a two-handed warrior Hawke, and she comes in using into this, you saw the shield on her back, and I was like, oh, they have her as a sword and shield rather than two-handed sword. Oh. It's not a big thing, it's only a little thing, but it's just one of the things that I would have liked if maybe she was wearing a two-handed sword instead, if I could have that choice, but whatever.
If that's what happened to the Wardens, do you think we can free them?
It's possible, but we need to know more first. I've got a friend in the Wardens. He was investigating something unrelated for me. His name is Loghain. The last time we spoke, he was worried about corruption in the Warden ranks. Since then, nothing.
Corypheus would certainly qualify as corruption in the ranks. Did your friend disappear with them?
No. He told me he'd be hiding in an old smuggler's cave near Crestwood.
I'll talk more about the difference between who would be the Warden friend of Hawke when we get to that later, but yeah, you'll probably notice that rather than Stroud, this time it's Loghain. There's another possibility, but again, I'll talk about that later.
If you didn't know about Corypheus, what were you doing with the Wardens?
The Templars in Kirkwall were using a strange form of lyrium. It was red. I'd hoped the Wardens could tell me more about it.
We've encountered red lyrium. Corypheus was using it to corrupt the Templars and turn them into his slaves.
Hopefully, my friend in the Wardens will know more.
I appreciate the help.
I'm doing this as much for myself as for you. Corypheus is my responsibility. I thought I'd killed him before. This time I'll make sure of it. Inquisitor.
I heard you had family and friends in Kirkwall. Where are they now?
When the Wardens began acting strangely, I had my friend Aveline take my sister out of the Free Marches. Fenris would have killed himself to protect me. I didn't want to give him that chance.
So it's kind of a little hand wave, but yeah, we'll get a little bit of, like, she'll either refer to her sibling and refer to who she romanced to, and that's basically all we get, unfortunately.
You said you thought you killed Corypheus?
The Grey Wardens had him imprisoned. They used my father's blood in a ritual to seal Corypheus inside. But he could still reach out and influence the Warden's thoughts. He sent them after me. And I didn't just think I killed him. When the fight was done, he was dead on the ground. Maybe his tie to the Blight somehow brought him back, or maybe it's all Tevinter magic. But he was dead, I swear it.
Why did you step down as Viscountess?
I told you that the Templars in Kirkwall were using red lyrium. It made them paranoid, and eventually they turned on me. I left Kirkwall to try to find out more. Never imagined it would lead me to Corypheus.
I assume Varric's been feeding you information about the Inquisition. What did he say about me?
Only good things, I promise. I was a little surprised, actually. Varric isn't one for religion in general, but he thinks highly of the Inquisition. I think the exact phrase was, has a good shot at fixing Blondie's mess.
Speaking of which...
I'd like to know more about Anders. What was he like?
I don't know if there ever was just an Anders. He was crazy. By the end, there was nothing left in him, except this insane need to start a war no one could win.
And that's unfortunately all we get to have in terms of questions for our Hawke. I do wish there was more here, but it is what it is.
We'll talk later.
I'll meet you at Crestwood.
So, let's once again break our legs. Now let's talk to Cassandra.
You knew where Hawke was all along!
You're damned right I did.
You conniving little shit!
You kidnapped me! You interrogated me! What did you expect?
Hey, enough!
You're taking his side?
I said enough!
We needed someone to lead this Inquisition. First, Liliana and I searched for the hero of Ferelden, but he had vanished. Then, we looked for Hawke, but she was gone too. We thought it all connected, but no. It was just you. You who kept her from us.
The Inquisition has a leader.
Hawke would have been at the Conclave if anyone could have saved Most Holy.
Yeah, that's where I get to realize, okay, Cassandra, you're kind of reaching here. You're really trying to take out your anger and grief about the Divine dying out on Varric right now. Really trying to grasp at the idea that somehow, some way, Hawke being there would have been able to prevent the Divine from dying, which is what she's really getting at. But let's be clear about this. First off, the Hawke that I played was a warrior, not a mage, which I highly doubt Warrior Hawke would have been able to really do much about what happened at the Conclave, considering the big explosion that happened. Maybe Mage Hawke could have been able to do something, but I don't think so. I think it was still too crazy and abrupt of a situation for Hawke to do anything. So, yeah, I don't agree with Cassandra. I don't think... But she's so desperate to believe that maybe there was something, some possible different thing she could have done. Maybe Hawke being there, maybe the hero, something. There had to have been something to save the Divine, to prevent her from dying. She is so desperate to believe that's true that she is really trying to now focus all the blame about that now on Varric.
Varric's not responsible for what happened at the Conclave.
What do you want from me?
Varric is a liar, Inquisitor. A snake. Even after the Conclave, when we needed Hawke most, Varric kept her secret.
She's with us now. We're on the same side.
We all know whose side you're on, Varric. It will never be the Inquisition's.
That's unworthy of you.
He did bring Hawke. Late, perhaps, but Hawke is with us. As are you.
You know what I think? If Hawke had been at the temple, she'd be dead too. You people have done enough to her.
Ain't that true?
I believed him. He spun his story for me, and I swallowed it. If I just explained what was at stake, if I just made him understand. But I didn't, did I? I didn't explain why we needed Hawke. I'm such a fool.
What if you hadn't believed him, and you'd tracked Hawke down?
Honestly, Hawke might not even have agreed to become Inquisitor. She supported the Templars in Kirkwall, but she had so many enemies. I could have been one of them. But this isn't about Hawke, or even Varric. Not truly. I should have been more careful. I should have been smarter. I don't deserve to be here.
You're too hard on yourself, Cassandra.
Not hard enough, I think.
You can't believe that.
I want you to know, I have no regrets. Maybe if we'd found Hawke or the hero of Ferelden, the Maker wouldn't have needed to send you. But he did. I don't know what's to come, but you're more than I could have hoped for. Something is troubling me, Inquisitor. Leliana is receiving reports of mages becoming possessed, Templars going rogue. No one is dealing with these matters. I was hoping we might, before they get worse.
We can certainly look into it.
I will mark these incidents on the map as I learn of them, Inquisitor. And I would be pleased to accompany you if and when you investigate.
That's enough for now.
Another time, then.
Now let's go find Varric. See if he's okay. Which, by the way, I agree with him. I really do think that Hawke probably would have died had she been there. You okay, buddy?
That got a little heated. You all right?
Whoa!
Well, that depends. How angry is Cassandra? I wasn't trying to keep secrets. I told the Inquisition everything that seemed important at the time.
I know, Varric. You never would have kept quiet otherwise.
I keep hoping none of this is real. Maybe it's all some bullshit from the Fade and it'll just disappear. I know I need to do better. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
Corypheus is back. Oh, shit.
You said he was a Darkspawn or a Magister. What is he really?
I'm not sure. I don't think Corypheus really knows either. He's definitely a Darkspawn, but when we found him, it was pretty obvious he hadn't heard that. He thinks he's a Magister, a priest of Dumat, in fact. He says he broke into the Golden City, like in the Chantry tale.
If you and Hawke defeated him once, we can do it again.
We didn't just think Corypheus was dead. He was dead. No pulse, no breath, full of stab wounds. There wasn't a lot of room for doubt. It makes me wonder. I thought the Wardens imprisoned Corypheus to use him. Maybe they did it because he can't be killed.
I mean, it does happen quite often in fiction. How often do we find out about some ancient power or being that has been locked away for thousands of years because they didn't think they could kill him, or because they didn't think of a way to kill them, or didn't want to? Or, I mean, even Power Rangers has done this many times.
How did you and Hawke even wind up in a Grey Warden prison for ancient Darkspawn?
Corypheus sent people after Hawke. He actually got control of an entire Carta clan. Made them drink Darkspawn blood. Weird shit. We tracked the Carta to an old dwarven fort or something in the mountains. Of course, it turned out to be a trap. They needed Hawke's blood to open the locks holding Corypheus. and they drew us into the prison to get it.
There has to be a way to defeat Corypheus. We'll find it, don't worry.
I hope you're right. Maker's breath, what have I let loose?
You had nothing to do with this, Varric.
I was the one who led Hawke to Corypheus. If I hadn't tracked the Carta to that ruin. But you've got more important things to do than listen to me worry. Just let me know when you want something shot.
Battling the demons of paperwork? That's a fight nobody walks away from clean.
You have no idea the number of times I've almost been killed by bills of lading. I've been meaning to come talk to you anyhow. I never officially joined the Inquisition. I don't know how to do this, disciplehood thing. I'm a businessman. Never really followed a chosen one before.
I don't need a disciple. I need a friend.
If you knew how intimidating you are, you wouldn't make it sound so simple. You just don't know what you are to the people out there. The Herald of Andraste is a symbol bigger than any of us.
What am I to you, then?
None of this shit makes any sense to me. Is this the end of the world? Did Andraste send you through the breach? I have no idea. You heard the crowd singing after Haven was attacked?
Whatever I am to Thedas, I'm still just an ordinary person.
So, just a regular person, like anybody else. Right. I should probably get back to work. Unless, you up for a game of Wicked Grace?
Yeah.
What can I do for you, Inquisitor?
I've read your Tale of the Champion.
That's a pretty common reaction.
I already asked him about that before.
For someone to talk your ear off? I think I can oblige.
Cassandra's waiting for the next issue of Swords and Shields.
I must have heard that wrong. It sounded like you just said that Cassandra read my books.
She's a pretty big fan, in fact.
Are we talking about the same Cassandra? Tall, grumpy seeker, like stabbing things? Wait, did you say the romance serial? Oh, she'll be waiting for a while then. I haven't finished it and wasn't planning to. That book is easily the worst I've ever written. The last issue barely sold enough to pay for the ink.
I find that funny because I can't tell you how many times I've heard like an author. In fact, I know somebody who said he has really messed around in writing, actually trying to write books. He just has never tried publishing them because, well, publishing is a horrible thing to really get involved in. But, it's funny how many times I've heard, like, if we read something and then we go to the author and tell them how much we love it, how often we'll hear that author in response say, "Oh, please, it's the worst thing I've ever written." Like, they're never too fond of their own works they've written until they hear it from their readers how much they loved it. Isn't that kind of funny? Now, I'm sure there's another number of different reactions from authors in that regard, but I would like to know how many authors have that kind of reaction if you tell them, "Oh, I loved what you wrote." They're like, "Oh, please, it's the worst thing I've ever done."
Well, Cassandra seems to be hooked on it.
And I honestly thought a hole in the sky was the weirdest thing that could happen. So, you want me to finish writing the latest issue of my worst serial for Cassandra? Oh, that's such a terrible idea. I have to do it. On one condition. I get to be there when you give her the book.
You've got a deal.
I'll get to work then. The fact that the book is terrible just makes it more worthwhile somehow.
Oh, Cassandra. After this, I'm going to do what I think is going to trigger the next stage of Skyhold. This is one of my favorite moments in the entire game. I love this.
What have you done now?
I get it, Seeker. You're still sore after our spat.
I'm not a child, Varric. Do not suggest I'm without reason.
A peace offering. The next chapter of Swords and Shields. I hear you're a fan.
This is your doing.
Oh, yes. Do you really think I'd miss this?
Well, if you're not interested, you're not interested. Still needs editing anyhow.
Wait!
You're probably wondering what happens to the Knight Captain after the last chapter.
Nothing should happen to her. She was falsely accused.
Well, it turns out the guardsman...
Don't tell me!
This is the part where you thank the Inquisitor. I don't normally give sneak peeks, after all.
I love how that pops up there at that moment.
Thank you.
This was everything I'd hoped.
I know how you feel.
I wonder if I have time to read the first part.
Don't forget to tell all your friends, if you have any. Completely worth it.
I love how she revealed how much into the story she is. And I also love that he didn't even really resist giving it to her. He just kind of held it out for her to grab as he started to spoil it. I love that quest so much. Alright, so now, let's see if we can trigger the next stage. Aha, okay. So, let's see. I guess we'll just go right here then. Doesn't really matter who we take. We're just going here to trigger the next stage, but also to do a little shopping. Although I may just hold off and do that off camera. I am also still wearing this outfit rather than my armor, but then again, I don't really need armor while here in Orlais, so... Now, what is that? Oh, another merchant I think became available now.
Now open in Val Royeaux, the wares of my kin imported from as far as the Hunter Moors. We haven't sold here in a long time, but with the Inquisition, there's money to be made.
So he's got armor pieces. Runestones. Ooh. Let me grab some of those. No schematics. Okay. I'll look at the rest of those later, like I said. Well, since we're here, I guess we'll go ahead and do this particular thing over here. Whoops.
What happened here?
Our merchant is conspicuously absent.
Indeed. Cancel that order for more field workers. Get me scribes, library slaves, the smartest you can find. They have to be able to read and write. Farmer runaways are fine, so long as they were clever about it. This Minotaur leader Calpurnia is paying a fortune for our best and brightest stock. Delivered to her personally, don't ask me why. One thing, don't send any with brands or whip marks. We had a couple of branded slaves in the last shipment. Her people sent the couriers back with burns on their faces. They said Calpurnia doesn't take kindly to damaged stock. Strange tick for a magister, but her gold's good enough. Vicinius.
Seems Vicinius angered Calpurnia by sending her mistreated slaves.
Really? Most Intervinter wouldn't bother to care.
She was paying a fortune for literate slaves.
But she has the Venatori. Unless... Perhaps dear Calpurnia has something she wishes to hide.
"14 healthy males, elves, 3 liberate former scribes and bookkeepers, set aside for sea, 5 healthy males, human, deduct 20 from 1 for missing hand, 10 healthy females, elves, 7 healthy females, humans, 2 literate, set aside for sea, 350 sovereigns paid in full, plus 150 down payment for next month's shipment."
An invoice for a shipment of slaves.
So, when this game first came out, you know what was one of the more either broken or buggy things? Dorian. Or rather, specifically, Dorian's necromancer tree. If you were to go into his necromancer tree, he could cause a number of issues and problems. Normally, he is supposed to be in the Inferno and necromancer tree. I will go ahead and work on setting up Dorian's character when it comes to the gameplay later on my own. Ooh.
That must have been Vicinius.
It seems the Venatori tired of following him.
Let's look around.
This chart notebook contains accounts, details of shipping routes, cargo manifests, and lists of contacts all shuffled together. The last entry reads, "Remember, sees people arriving tomorrow to discuss new shipment. Must bring up incident with last courier being branded, losing profits to keep him quiet. Good customer, but she's bleeding me dry. Ask for compensation."
A shattered crystal. Let's find the pieces. Here's another one. The crystal's whole again, but hold on.
Lady Calpurnia, I had no intention.
I warned you of consequences should the slaves you bring me suffer in your care. Venatori, show him my displeasure.
No! Wait! Wait!
A dwarven relic for storing memories. There's 1 or 2 in Minrathous. Very rare.
Dagna might know what to make of it.
I'll come back here to recheck each of the merchants, because that's one of the main reasons to come back here to Val Royeaux is all the merchants. But it is worth noting that even more have now opened up once you go to Skyhold, because like I said, there's even a merchant here that has a lot of stuff when it comes to your new Skyhold place, including thrones.
Before the corrupt and the
I
wicked.
think he's in here. Oh, well, here's the recipes. Huh. Books. Interesting. Nothing else there. Stuff that I can go ahead and read if I want. Now in the Codex.
An impressive title, Inquisitor. Would you spend like it?
Inquisitor, welcome. Thanks to your investment, I have all manner of runners scouring the way.
Those who wander in sin.
I wonder if I have to trigger being able to actually sit in my throne to actually open up that particular merchant to show up.
Of the world, and boast not, nor gloats over the misfortunes of the weak, but takes delight in the Maker's lore and creations. She shall know the peace of the Maker's benediction.
Here are more of the particular resources I can acquire. Here we go. More beds and draperies and glasses. Banners, yep. That's part of what I was looking for. I don't think there was anything special in this particular one over here. I think this is just like weapons. No, there's a schematic there now. That's right. There is also this merchant up here. Let's just double check if there's anything new over here.
And now the grooms run off as well. Something about cousins and Western approach. All the more reason to improve.
I am undone.
Standing.
Buried in wealth, but undone.
The golden nug. Alright, so now let's head back to Skyhold. Let's see if things have gotten cleaned up since we've been away. It looks like it has. So now I have the opportunity to sit on my throne and pass judgment.
Turnips into the fire. Ah, oh, Maker, the smell is everywhere. I was going to use them for dinner and then... I can't recall who took them.
Here is the request Harriet made.
Are there any special instructions?
Your trip to the merchant's home yielded results. Before she became leader of the Venatori, Calpurnia was a slave from Minrathous. Even slaves with magic are treated unkindly in Tevinter. If Corypheus freed her, no wonder she follows him.
She must believe freedom will reign under Corypheus.
Perhaps. Calpurnia has freed every slave she's purchased. Vicinius tracked his shipments. My agents will investigate. This may lead us to Calpurnia's lair. In the meantime, speak to Dagna. The crystal you found on Vicinius fascinates her.
This is an amazing find, Inquisitor. The Shaperid in Orzammar had something like it.
Greetings to you too, Dagna.
They preserve voices, or a likeness, memories, you know? You don't know. Doesn't matter. The Venatori cracked it, but here...
These documents you found, Inquisitor, I've made interesting... discoveries.
Have no fear of demons.
But the power will draw them unless you have wards against possession.
Once you have become the vessel, demons will be beneath your concern. Prepare as I have directed.
I shall, Elder One.
Sod it. Oh, sorry. The crystal couldn't take any more. Wasn't meant for this.
That looked like Corypheus and Calpurnia.
It was a memory stored in the crystal.
No, that was vital information. Did you see Calpurnia's expression? Their alliance may be less than harmonious.
Corypheus said Calpurnia was going to be a vessel. A vessel for what?
They spoke of power and demons. But Calpurnia is already a magister. Corypheus must have some other plan.
The crystal showed us Calpurnia hasn't bought into Corypheus's myth just yet.
Well, I'm no shaper, but I might be able to get it to remember new sounds.
Really? If we hid it among Calpurnia's belongings, imagine what we could learn.
Huh. I can split it and keep half here. We could hear her speaking right then. It's not how they're supposed to work, and it'll probably break. As I said, I'm no shaper.
Inquisitor, Calpurnia's Venatori have been digging up elven ruins. Tracking them might lead us to her. If this crystal were placed in a lair, I cannot overstate the value of what we might learn.
Why not attack Calpurnia head on?
You attract attention, Inquisitor. Her spies would see you coming. A single agent may slip in and out without notice. This crystal may yield great rewards.
Right, simple. Dagna, any chance it'll work?
Oh, there's always a chance. I mean, yes.
If there's a rift growing between Corypheus and Calpurnia, we must exploit it.
I'll have the crystal ready soon. I think. Let me find the Quicksilver.
There's something I want to check. Alright, so this area is here, and so are these merchants. That is something I was curious about. Aha! That's right, I forgot there were some of these that are like, hey! You want some higher level stuff? We have it, if you've got the means to acquire it. Aha. Don't notice the change on her face. I guess I'll just have to get both of them and find out. More stuff for crafting. More schematics. Wait. Oh, that's right. These are the things that are going to get me a huge jump in Inquisition power and perks, allowing me to be able to get my perks very, very fast. Yeah, I'm gonna buy these and watch how much my Inquisition power jumps. Forgot how many of these that there are here. And yeah, they do cost quite a bit of gold, but as you can see, I'm already just swimming in gold. So I'm not really that concerned. Influence level 30. Plus 200 power. And plus 29 Inquisition perks. So yeah, I'll be able to go get all those perks now.
Thanks for my life in Haven. You've all sorts serving now. If that means change, so be it.
Lots of standards. That'll guide.
So before we go, do some other stuff like sit on our throne, let's go check out our new quarters.
Distractions everywhere.
I'll also have to go check all the new things we got to see if there's anything I want to change here in Skyhold.
They've certainly spared no expense.
That's quite the bed to sleep on, isn't it? Hello? Oh, recipes for the upgrades. Wonderful! I can also change my wardrobe. Do I want to stick with casual wear? Like I'm currently wearing. Do I want to wear something a bit more formal? Like what we'll wear to the Winter Palace? Outerwear? Or maybe just my armor. Or some armor. I like how you can put it on and then take a look. It's like, yeah. Sure. Why not? Man, imagine if this was like the kind of like real balcony view you could get from your bedroom, like right here. Look at this. Look at this. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and cut off here. I'm going to go ahead and mess around with a bit of these things. I'm going to go down to the table and get all my new perks. And just kind of do some of that kind of like, dress up stuff, when it comes to not only myself, but also Skyhold. And then we'll start, taking advantage of our new authority and power from our new throne. Stay tuned.